Hey everyone, it's Camille at VODIUM, and I have to admit this is the third time I'm recording this, and I'm hoping this is a home run because I want to share with you the 6 quick tips of VODIUM, and I'm using VODIUM so I don't record 20 takes. Okay, so one of the coolest features of VODIUM is the adjust transparency. You can go all the way up to 65. We chose this because we think it's still transparent enough where you can still see the text. If for some reason you can't see the text, then adjust the transparency to be a little bit darker. But if you see my screensaver, it is a fake video meeting. The transparency is there for you to gauge your audience. Or if you are sharing a PowerPoint presentation, you can use VODIUM to read your slides notes, but you adjust the transparency so you can see your slide and speak to it. Okay, camera level. We created VODIUM to be a certain height and width, so your eyes don't go too far left, too far right, or too far down. And then VODIUM is meant to be positioned as close as possible to your computer's camera. I'm on a laptop, so my computer's camera is built in. Let's say you have an attachment, which I also have on a different monitor. VODIUM is here to have you remember that your audience is this square frame. So even though VODIUM is not literally overlaying on top of my computer's camera like a traditional teleprompter, it's still close enough that there is this square frame that when I am arm's length away almost from my keypad and my framing is chest up, depending on what I read and how I read it, this frame is still going to give the viewpoint to the audience that I'm looking at them. I don't know if that made sense, but essentially camera level, we created it to be close to your computer's camera so your audience thinks you're looking at them. Okay, practice first. This is my third take. I didn't practice. I should have practiced, but whatever. I'm human, right? But start with short scripts. I just put these 6 quick tips into VODIUM, and I just made the font size small enough so I can fit all the bullet points and I don't have to touch VODIUM at all if I don't want to. But if you're going to use VODIUM for auto scroll or bigger scripts, I suggest that you start with manually scrolling and getting the use to your natural pace and just meeting yourself. And then when you mess up, it's okay. Just take a pause and take a breath. Okay, cross-platform. The whole reason why we built VODIUM is that we knew people were going to be overwhelmed with stacking a lot of things on top of one another or not having to split screens and sacrifice not being able to look at your computer's camera. So we knew we needed something that was able to work on top of anything. This is why VODIUM is a desktop teleprompter. Most applications you use nowadays, you log in online, right, on a web browser. But VODIUM essentially is its own web browser. It's its own window. It's its own application that lives on your computer's desktop, on your applications. I very much so suggest that you pin it to your dock or task, right? So VODIUM is a part of your virtual tech stack. And then don't be afraid to use VODIUM on a Zoom meeting, Microsoft Teams meeting, a Google Meet, you name it. And the reason why VODIUM is able to do that is because we have a feature, stay on top. You need to enable this feature. Lock VODIUM in place is just a plus if you're a really anxious speaker and you don't want VODIUM to move at all. But keep VODIUM on top is basically the same thing. So because we have keep VODIUM on top, I'm allowed to open up Zoom. I'm allowed to drag a website browser underneath and still have VODIUM remain on top. That's a secret sauce. That is also why we created VODIUM as a desktop application, because it needed to have its own autonomy to say no to the other applications open. I must be on top. It's beautiful. Okay, scroll speed. So like I mentioned, I just put my script in VODIUM on a font size that was small enough to just fit in the text window, but sometimes that is not going to happen. You need a bigger font size, or you're doing content where you want to go hands-free and use auto scroll. But usually what I like to do is I manually scroll. I have my hands on my mouse pad and I'm just matching my pace and I'm emphasizing the text closest to the camera. But if you want to do auto scroll, the way you do this is you find a font size. Let's start off with 50 and then scroll speed of 65. Let's go to the top to just reset. Sometimes if you're also recording, I like to give myself a little space to breathe, and let's see how this goes. Okay, hi everyone, it's Camille. I want to go over 6 quick tips. You got to adjust transparency. It helps you set opacity for easy reading. Let's talk about camera level. It helps you keep your camera at eye level, and don't forget to practice first. Start with short scripts. I'm just ad-libbing here, right? But let me press my space bar to pause. But at times that felt really, really fast. So what I would do is either increase the font size. Increasing the font size means there's more text taking up more space, which is slowing it down in one way, or I can decrease the speed size, and that would help go a little bit slower. But because because VODIUM is as simple as you set a scroll speed and you set a font size, to meet in the middle, if for some reason you're just not getting there where you need to, add spaces, right? Add actual pauses to breathe, add reminders that you need to pause, stuff like that. And then another fun tip is, let's say you are scrolling VODIUM and your text ends at set the tone. You need to add some characters a little bit below at the end of VODIUM, so when you are auto-scrolling or manually scrolling, VODIUM thinks that those dashes are the last characters, so it will allow you to scroll up to them. But if the only text you have in VODIUM ends at tone and nothing is below it, you won't be able to scroll up. That's a very niche tip because we want to emphasize text as close as possible to the computer's camera. Damn it! This is a 7-minute video. I actually don't know if it's going to be 7 minutes. I need to edit it. But if you're sticking around, thank you so much for listening to me aimlessly speak. These are e-learning videos that I hope you can watch on your own and revisit if you need a little confidence boost from me. Okay, the VODIUM is now yours.